Good afternoon, my people. I'm Dr. Ajaisha Ebenezer, popularly known as Dr. AJ. I'm your doctor, and this afternoon I want to address a topic based on popular demand. People have been asking me, what is heredity? They've said that if a man has hypertension, his children might have it also. If a woman is diabetic, it may run in the family. Even psychiatric issues may run in the family. Why all these things in the family? That was the questions I've been getting from my sizable audience, from the hospital, on the field, and wherever people have opportunities to ask me questions. They've been asking me these questions about, family tree and how diseases get, from family to family, from family to family. And that's the reason why I take it upon myself to do this video this evening. The reason why diseases runs in the family is as a result of genetics, our DNA. You might not know, individual human being is made from 6 people. As you are as a person, your DNA is concussion from that of your father and your mother. That's 2. Then your mother's mother and your mother's father. Then your father's mother and your father's father. Those are the 6 people from which your DNA is being concussion from. So which means that the reshuffling between these 6 people is what form you as a person. So whatever these 6 people, have in their body in form of ailments, in form of talent, in form of ability, in form of character, attitude, in form of temperament, in form of, they can be passed down because their DNA that is coded with this information was actually reshuffled from to form yours. And also, there are the part of their body that is susceptible, the part of their genetics that is susceptible to this infection, infirmities, and illnesses. If the part of the gene that is susceptible was part of the one that was reshuffled to form, you as an individual, then you have tendency of actually manifesting those ailments, diseases that affected them during their lifetime. And also, it's not just the bad aspect, also the good aspect, their talent. If this is your progenitors, 6 of them, your brilliancy might be from one of them. You are so brilliant, you are so smart. There are some gift that comes to you naturally. Some people, they are gifted with their hands without even learning how to make hair. They know how to do it. If you look at these 6 people from which your DNA was concussion from, you will see yourself. You see that talent, that it was passed to you from one of them. So the gene that is actually, that manifests all these diseases and illnesses, that manifest this, illness. For example, hypertension, diabetes, arthritis, psychiatric, tendencies, the dementia and the rest. So this is a factor that is responsible for things like that. And also, individual can also be responsible for coding things that were not even passed down to them. For example, you as an individual, your father might be diabetic, your father might be hypertensive, and the rest like that. But you yourself, you can also incubate some certain things into your own DNA that you can pass to your own children that was not even part of the thing that you inherited from, that is foreign to you. And how does this come by? It's because, from head to toe, the totality and entirety of man, made out of billions of cells, I get what I'm saying, is coded. And how? Every part of the human body is made up of cells, and individual cells has memory, which means that they can store information. And that's the reason why, even if you are talented, you still need training. As you are training with your talent, all the cells in your body will continue to code the information, they continue to code the practices, and before you know it, you become perfect at it. So now, as an individual, if there is anything that you also, maybe, you are a kind of person, something happened to you, you are grieving, and as you are grieving, you took it to what you are processing the thought, and this person just me, why will he do this to me, so and you are over processing the thought. The thoughts of that bad thing that you are over processing in your head can be stored in your DNA. That is how human beings store trauma in their DNA, and that is how all these things, most of the things that we even inherited from our parents, that is how it was stored initially too. You can store trauma in your physical body. And if you store trauma in your physical body, from there it can enter into your DNA. And if it enter into your DNA, you can pass it on to the next generation as well, as a form of heredity. And the example I'm giving is maybe somebody, cheat you as a lady, and because somebody cheats you, you kept on thinking, why will he do this to me? Why will he do this? Why will he do that? For days in, day out, you continue to think, you continue to get worried. If you continue to do this and on and on and on, you will discover that your body will start mastering this information that you kept on ruminating and kept on processing over and over again in your body, in your mind, and it can be stored in your DNA. And how do we prove this? Okay, maybe some people might be asking questions that how possible is that? The research was done to prove this particular scientific process that I'm talking about. And how was it done? The scientists, they went to go and get white rats. And this white rat, they put the white rat in the cage, and there is this cable, electric cable. They open a little part of that electric cable and they put bean cake. So this white rat, as it was, rat now, they like things that is sweet and sweet. So as the white rat was actually eating the bean cake, he had the bean cake to the part of the live wire that was naked, and the rat got electrocuted. Kept on, rolling on ground, rolling. Eventually, the rat did not die. But subsequently, whenever that particular rat, see the bean cake, it will not eat. They now, isolated this rat from that place. They put inside another cage. They put bean cake there. The rat will not eat. They've now, carry this rat, put in the cage where there are other rats, and they put bean cake. All other rats rush the bean cake, but only this rat will not hit the bean cake. Over and over like that. The main thing there is that they now met this particular rat. The children that also was given birth to by this rat also exhibited the same trait. Whenever they see bean cake, they will not eat. They did not witness what their progenitor went through. They were not the one that was electrocuted. But because their progenitor don't eat cake, they also, whenever they receive bean cake, they don't just eat, they like bean cake. Why? Because the trauma that their progenitor went through was stored in their DNA and was passed on to those children, such that all the children that were born, that comes from that particular lineage of the rats that got electrocuted, don't eat bean rat from 4th generation to 4th generation. They kept on mating them over and over again. And they discovered that the offspring that comes from this particular family tree, that their progenitor got electrocuted but survived it, did not like bean cake. They don't eat bean cake. That is to prove to us that we can store trauma in our physical body. If something bad happened to you, it was dastard, and that's the reason why if anything bad happened to you, don't over-process it. Don't take it to heart too much. You know what you're supposed to do? When something happened to you, just find a reason to let go. Find a reason to actually forget about it. Because if you kept on processing that thing in your mind over and over again, the more you process it, the more you are storing in this, in all the cells in your body. And from the cells in your body, it can actually be, enter into your DNA, and from there you can pass it on. That's why you see some children, they are just overly sensitive. For example, what I said the other time, somebody was cheated. Because of that, he kept on thinking. He got hospitalized because he almost led to schizophrenia, to mental illness and the rest like that. If that kind of a person give birth to children, some of the children might have, they might have trust issue. Overly sensitive children, they won't just trust anybody without no reason. They themselves will not know the reason why they don't trust people. They just see that by nature, they just don't trust anybody. Why? Because of the, what they inherited from their, parents. So this is also how the hypertension, diabetes, and everything. That was how, as they can be transmitted, transferred from one generation to another through DNA. So also the trauma or whatever we go through or whatever we experience in life, if it is not well handled, this is how we can also pass it to our children unborn as well. So my counsel on this is that your state of health, your mental state, your mental health must be very, very important to you. Whatever does not make you happy does not worth your energy. Whatever does not make you happy does not worth your worries. So whatever happens, I am saying you did not make yourself. Whatever happens, give it to God and take your peace of mind. Give it to God, take your peace of mind. Give it to God, embrace yourself, embrace your peace of mind. Because if you process it, it might become something that will come to threaten your own well-being. and also be passed on to your children. Thank you so very much.